My name is Anna, and I am 33 years old. I work in a hospital as a nurse. My job is to care for people who are sick or injured, and I do my best to make their lives a little easier. It's not an easy job. Most days, I work long hours, starting early in the morning and finishing late in the evening. Sometimes I have to work night shifts, which can be exhausting, but I have grown used to it. Despite the demanding schedule and the physical and emotional toll it takes, I love what I do. I find purpose in helping others, knowing that I can make a difference in someone's life. There's a sense of fulfillment that comes with seeing a patient recover, or even just seeing a small smile on their face because of something I did. Up until last year, my life was simple and quiet. I lived alone in a small apartment. I didn't have a boyfriend or many close friends. My time was mostly spent at the hospital, working tirelessly, often to the point of exhaustion. After work, I would sometimes visit my mother, who lives in a small, peaceful village not too far from where I live. She's older now and needs some help with daily tasks, so I tried to visit as often as I could to lend a hand. Those visits became a regular part of my routine. Life felt predictable, and while it wasn't particularly exciting, it was steady. I didn't think much about changing anything, because I was so focused on my work and my responsibilities. Everything changed one day when a new doctor joined the hospital staff. His name was Michael, and he immediately caught everyone's attention. Michael is 31 years old, 2 years younger than me, and he's incredibly handsome. He's tall, with neatly styled brown hair and striking blue eyes that seem to light up when he smiles. He has a natural charm and an easygoing personality that made him popular with everyone, especially the nurses. People were drawn to him because he was not only good-looking but also kind, polite, and approachable. He always had a smile for everyone, and he treated the staff with respect, no matter their position. At first, I didn't think Michael would even notice me. I'm just an ordinary woman, not the type to stand out in a crowd. I'm not particularly slim, and I don't have long, glamorous hair or a trendy wardrobe. My life is simple, and so is my appearance. I wear practical clothes, and I don't spend much time on makeup or accessories. I assumed that someone like Michael, who seemed so confident and admired, wouldn't be interested in someone like me. I told myself not to get my hopes up and tried not to think about him too much. To my surprise, Michael did notice me. He started talking to me during work. At first, it was just small conversations, asking how my day was going or making casual comments about work. But he was always so kind and attentive when he spoke to me. Every day, he would smile at me, and it felt genuine. Not just a polite gesture. I was taken aback because I didn't expect someone like him to pay attention to me. Gradually, our conversations became longer and more personal. I found myself looking forward to those moments, even if they were brief. It felt nice to be noticed and appreciated. One day, after a particularly long shift, Michael offered to give me a ride home. I hesitated at first, but he insisted, and I eventually agreed. He drove me in his car, which was clean and well-kept, and during the ride, we talked nonstop. We talked about work, our lives, and our families. It was so easy to talk to him. He listened to me and shared stories about his own life, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly comfortable with someone. That ride home was the beginning of something new. After that, Michael started driving me home more often. It became a regular thing. Sometimes, he would bring me coffee or tea at work, which felt like such a thoughtful gesture. We began spending our lunch breaks together in the hospital cafeteria, sitting at the same table and talking about everything. Our conversations weren't just about work anymore. We talked about our dreams, our hobbies, and even silly little things that made us laugh. I found myself looking forward to seeing him every day. His presence made my days brighter, and I couldn't help but feel my feelings for him growing stronger. One weekend, Michael asked me if I wanted to go to the movies with him. Both of us had the day off, and I was thrilled by the invitation. I said yes without hesitation. We went to see a movie together, and afterward, we took a long walk. During the walk, we talked for hours about anything and everything. It felt so natural, so easy. I hadn't felt this happy in years. Spending time with Michael made me feel alive in a way I hadn't experienced before. I started to think that maybe, just maybe, he liked me as much as I liked him. It was a hopeful, exciting feeling, and I cherished it. But a few days later, Michael told me something that completely caught me off guard. He approached me after work, looking serious, and said he needed to talk to me. My heart raced as I wondered what he was about to say. Then he told me, "Anna, I need to tell you something important. I'm married." His words hit me like a thunderbolt. I was completely shocked. Michael had never mentioned a wife before. He didn't wear a wedding ring, and there had been no signs that he was married. I felt a mixture of confusion, disbelief, and sadness. Michael explained that he had been married for 5 years to a woman named Laura. They didn't have any children, but he admitted that he was unhappy in his marriage. He told me that he and Laura didn't have much in common anymore. They didn't spend much time together, and their interests and priorities had grown apart over the years. He said that being with me made him feel happy and alive. He told me that he felt comfortable with me, that I was easy to talk to, and that he genuinely enjoyed spending time with me. Hearing this left me in a whirlwind of emotions. I didn't know how to respond. I had developed such strong feelings for Michael, and I thought there was a possibility for something real between us. Now, everything felt complicated and uncertain. I liked him so much, but I didn't know what to do. His words left me feeling torn, and I knew I had to figure out what this all meant for me and my life. I felt truly happy whenever I was with Michael. Every moment we spent together seemed magical, as if the rest of the world faded away, leaving just the two of us. I had begun to cherish these moments more than I realized. But just a few days later, everything changed, and I was forced to confront a reality I wasn't prepared for. It started on what seemed like a normal day. I decided to visit the large supermarket in the city to stock up on groceries. The supermarket was lively as usual, with the sound of carts rolling, children laughing, and soft music playing overhead. I wandered through the aisles, picking up items here and there, lost in my thoughts. But then, as I reached for a box on one of the shelves, I heard a voice. It wasn't just any voice. It was Michael's. At first, I thought I was imagining it. My heart raced as I turned toward the sound. My curiosity piqued. And there he was, standing just a few feet away. But he wasn't alone. He was with someone, a woman. My chest tightened as I watched them. She was stunning, the kind of woman who would naturally turn heads. She had an air of elegance and sophistication that couldn't be ignored. She was tall, her figure slim and graceful, and she wore expensive clothes that looked like they came straight out of a designer's catalog. Her hair was perfectly styled, and she smiled warmly, her face glowing with happiness. I didn't need anyone to tell me who she was. It was clear she was Laura, his wife. I stood frozen, my heart sinking with every second that passed. Michael hadn't seen me yet, so I had a moment to observe them. They were laughing together, their voices light and joyful. It wasn't just casual laughter. It was the kind of laughter that comes from two people deeply connected, enjoying each other's company. They looked so happy, so in sync, and it felt like a knife piercing my heart. I didn't know what to do. My mind raced as I stood there, feeling like an outsider in a life I had no right to be a part of. The happiness they shared made me question everything. Why would Michael spend time with me if he had someone like her? I felt small, insignificant, and completely out of place. Before they could notice me, I turned and left the supermarket in a hurry, my heart pounding as I walked out into the fresh air. When I got home, I couldn't shake the image of them together. It replayed in my mind like a scene from a movie, and each time it hurt a little more. I sat on my bed, staring at the wall, lost in my thoughts. I felt sad, confused, and a little foolish. Why had Michael sought me out if he already had someone like Laura? What did he see in me that he didn't find in her? These questions swirled in my mind, but no answers came. That night was one of the longest I'd ever experienced. I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts tangled and heavy. I thought about Michael, about how kind he had been to me, and how much I enjoyed being with him. But then I thought about Laura, her beauty, her elegance, and the way she seemed so perfect. It didn't make sense. Why would Michael choose me when he had someone like her? The next day, I dragged myself to work, feeling like a shadow of myself. My heart ached, and my mind was clouded. I didn't want to see Michael, but at the same time, I knew I had to confront him. I couldn't go on feeling this way without knowing the truth. When I finally saw him, he greeted me with his usual warm smile, the kind that had always made me feel special. But this time, it felt different. I couldn't bring myself to smile back. My emotions were too raw. "Michael, we need to talk," I said, my voice quiet but firm. He looked at me, his expression shifting to concern. "What's wrong, Anna?" he asked, genuinely confused. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heart. "I saw you at the supermarket yesterday," I said. "You were with your wife. You looked happy. I don't understand why you're spending time with me if you're happy with her." Michael's face fell. His usual confidence was replaced with vulnerability. For a moment, he seemed at a loss for words. Then he spoke softly. "I'm not happy, Anna. Laura and we don't have the same connection that you and I do. With you, I can be myself. You make me feel alive in a way I haven't felt in years." His words were sincere, and I could see the sadness in his eyes. Part of me wanted to believe him, to let myself fall into the comfort of his affection. But I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling in my heart. I cared about Michael, but I didn't want to be the reason his marriage fell apart. I needed time to think. "Michael, I need some space," I said finally. My voice wavered, but I knew it was the right thing to do. Over the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about everything. I confided in my best friend, Sarah, and told her the whole story. Sarah was always honest with me, and I trusted her advice. "Anna," she said, her tone firm but kind, "you deserve someone who can be with you fully. Don't settle for less. You're worth more than that." Her words stayed with me. She was right. I needed to prioritize my happiness and think about what kind of relationship I wanted. I couldn't let my feelings for Michael blind me to the reality of the situation. A week later, Michael called and asked to meet. I hesitated but agreed, knowing I needed to be honest with him. We met at a quiet park, the winter air crisp and biting. Michael looked at me with hope and sadness, waiting for me to speak. I took a deep breath. "Michael, I care about you," I said. "But I can't be in this situation. You need to decide what you really want. If you're not happy with Laura, you need to talk to her. But I can't be the other woman in your life." Michael's face reflected the pain of my words, but he nodded slowly. "I understand, Anna," he said. "I just want you to be happy." As we said our goodbyes, I walked away feeling a mix of emotions. Sadness for what I was letting go of, but also a sense of strength. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had made the right choice. Sometimes, life forces us to make difficult decisions, and this was one of those moments. I chose to value myself and my happiness, even though it hurt. If you found this story moving, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support means everything.